Stephen Heen's here at the spring game. Just going to talk to you about a guy who stood out during the spring game, and that's Emeka Egbuka. Obviously, people have been talking about Marvin Harrison all spring, but Emeka Egbuka was the second offensive guy to get his stripe taken off, third guy overall behind Marvin and Jack Sawyer. He led the team in catches today, hit 7 catches on 9 targets for 123 yards. I mean, that's what the expectation is as a slot guy. You know, you're a reliable hands guy who can put the ball away and pick up yards with your feet. I think his best moment of the day, though, was C.J. Stroud. He was pretty accurate today, but one of his more inaccurate balls of the day, Emeka Egbuka had to go make a play. He had to lunge out and make that catch. But that's what you expect from a guy who's the number 1 wide receiver in the country in the 2021 recruiting class, and why they put so much effort and basically let it come up to signing day in order to land that commitment. That's a guy who's going to be the second-string slot guy at this point behind Jackson Smith and Jigba. At least it seems that way with Garrett Wilson moving back out into the slot. And that guy is going to have a role. And what we saw today, now he might not have 9 targets every single game, but that type of production is what you should expect from a true freshman 5-star.
Hey everybody, Nathan Baird from cleveland.com talking about some guys who stood out on offense today in Ohio State's spring game. And you can't tell a lot about the running backs in a game where you're not tackling, where you're just playing the thud. One guy, though, who I caught my eye a little bit, and I think it's an important guy, is Cade Stover. They targeted him over the middle a couple of times in just sort of some dump-off scenarios. I think that could be an important role for, obviously, Jeremy Rucker's going to be the primary tight end this year, but they have to get somebody else to step up and be the second guy for just what they want to do formationally. And if he can be a reliable guy just in those very kind of simple scenarios, getting open over the middle and catching easy passes, that's one thing. But my main question with him has been his conversion from obviously just good all-around football player that everybody respects and agrees is the kind of athlete that can play in the Big Ten to a legitimate tight end. And I thought he had a play on the sideline. It was actually an incomplete pass, but he went out of bounds and came up with a catch that I don't know that a lot of veteran tight ends might have made, and he's a guy who's only in his, going into his second year of playing the position, and I thought made a pretty nifty catch. It kind of goes back to just what his background is, a guy who was used to at the high school level having the ball in his hands, and he talked about that this spring, that he's comfortable at going out and making plays in space. And again, Jeremy Rucker's going to be the primary guy that they call on to do that this year. I don't know how many opportunities Cade Stover will have to make big plays in the passing game, but just like Rucker and Luke Farrell before him, those guys kept capitalizing even in with few opportunities, and Cade Stover is going to be asked to do the same thing.